and it was 738750. And my thoughts are we should have some kind of report on that. I don't just, because I look at bills, and I don't want to just see a bill. Last month it was over 5,000. I think we can get some kind of a summary that they can actually put out to us. That's my thought.
Are you just looking for the breakdown of the charges?
Not really a breakdown, a summary of what they've done, because I think for the transparency for us and the transparency for the residents, they deserve to see some kind of a summary. I don't just believe in just saying, okay, send the check. Because we can go for a whole year and we send checks and we don't know anything. But some people may, some people may not. And I think we should have some kind of summary that they can.
I can certainly speak with our finance ladies and see what we have that we can get.
Okay.
And if not, we'll just make those fine folks over there.
Okay, seeing no further comments, may I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved. Second.
A motion made by Council President Zambrana, second by Councilman Potter. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Mango.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller. Aye. Councilwoman Payne. Aye. Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Motion carries, Mayor.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read resolution 2026-127 by title, please?
Approval of consent agenda items.
Which pleasure of council?
Take motion that these resolutions be adopted.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does anybody want any resolutions?
Oh, yes, sorry. No. I'd like to pull 2026-129. Is that it?
I have a motion and a second, please.
So.
Thank you. I have a motion made by Councilman Potter, second by Councilwoman Payne. Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Zambrana.
Aye.
Councilman Mango.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller. Aye. Councilwoman Payne. Aye. Councilman Poznanski.
Aye.
Councilman Potter.
Aye.
Motion carries, Mayor.
Will the clerk please read resolution 2026-129?
Resolution for professional services, appraisal services for the vacant Hilltown Firehouse buildings.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved. Second.
Your
Sure. I'm not in favor of this because I think we're putting the cart before the horse. It's not a small amount of money that the taxpayers would have to bill for, and we haven't really had a discussion to talk about what we'll do. So to jump ahead and get an appraisal and then say, well, we'll think about it. When you put the building up for sale, you'll also get an appraisal if that's the case. But the case is that we won't put the building up for sale. This is out of the taxpayer pockets, and I don't think it's fair. I know that, like last week, someone came up and they want to save the firehouse. There's two schools of thought. There's to save the firehouse and there's to sell the firehouse or the firehouse proper. It's up to us to decide what to do with that, and then we can get an appraisal. An appraisal is just, I was in the mortgage business. If it was a house appraisal, it might be $500-700. But you go by the square footage, so the cost is 7,000 plus. I think we decide what to do with the property first, and instead of kicking the can down the road.
But without knowing the values of the house, of the property?
You can get a rough estimate of the value. Why do you need a value if you haven't decided what you're going to do with it?
To make a qualified decision on what to do with it.
You can make a qualified decision anyway if you want to sell or not sell.
I thought the intention was that either way we kind of have to figure out some things and possibly rezone something as well. And I thought that, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it was, the wording really doesn't clearly state it. When it says assessment value of property, is it are they going to give us any input about what would be the best future for it, or a couple of options about how we could go around keeping it, leasing it, renting it out, or selling it, or are they just kind of giving us an evaluation of what it's worth today on the open market?
So what I will say is, again, this is just the beginning of the process. So when we had this conversation last year, in September and October, the price was doubled. And since we're already into October, it didn't really make any sense. Our VA at that time, Mr. Carr said, well, this isn't in the budget anyway, so this is going to be kicked to next year. When we reached out to our appraiser, who we appointed, same appraisers last year, nothing changed. It was the same number, which is about $14,000. So I wasn't comfortable with that because I thought it was a little bit excessive. I did reach out to our new VA when he came aboard to see if he had any feeling or any contacts and stuff, and with his help, we were able to get this quote in for $7,000 with a much more time efficient turnaround time instead of 8 to 10 weeks, it's 4 to 6 weeks. So again, this is the beginning of the process. The plan's been in place, the South Main Street rehabilitation plan has been in place for 3 years. Had many people reach out and say, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing? Well, we need to get an appraisal to see how much it is. We're gonna take the facts that are presented to us in the report, and then we'll go from there. I don't know if we're gonna sell it, I don't know if we're gonna lease it, but at least we're gonna have a set of some data that will hopefully guide us to whatever our ultimate goal is. That's why it's on the agenda.
I disagree, because it's taxpayer money.
And that's your,
That's right, it's taxpayer money, everyone's sitting here.
Yep.
And either we're gonna sell it or not sell it, that'll be determined. I don't need to know the value of it right now. That's me.
okay.
I mean, I do kind of think, as we discussed last year, was that we take a long time to do everything in this town. And,
We do.
a first step sounds like an accomplishment. So, and it was a goal laid out last year. And it's good to cross one off and start something. I remember last year we spoke about it, and one of the other councilmen said, "What's your hurry on this?" And I laughed, but the idea of how long have these buildings been vacant, that if we had made any kind of rental or income out of them, it would have been it would have gathered into a nice basket by now.
Well, we've had a year, we've had no discussion to sell or to repair the building.
It was October 29th, so it would be,
This October, no, we discussed it last year.
well, when we talked about the idea of,
Okay,
Yeah,
you can say that we take a lot of time. Some things don't have to take a lot of time. That's your opinion, I have my opinion. I don't think the taxpayer money should go for that.
and I agree that you're certainly welcome to have your opinion. I've lived here a while, I've seen Stacey's enough. I've seen empty properties enough. But again, we're all entitled to our different opinions. Anyone else have a matter to discuss, we can move to the vote.
I do remember discussion last year, and I do remember asking Council President Zambrano, when would we be doing this evaluation? And it's coming forward, and hopefully we make Main Street look better than what it is with open space and empty buildings.
May the clerk please call the roll.
Council President Zambrano.
Aye.
Councilman Mango.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller. Aye. Councilwoman Payne. Aye. Councilman Kwasniewski.
No.
Councilman Todd.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Reports from elected officials, Council President Zambrano.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have any reports at this time.
Thank you. Councilman Manco.
Yes, I'll give you the condensed version. We did replace some streetlights, like the electrical department did replace some streetlights, and some house services. The department has been working with CME engineers on several infrastructure and distribution issues for the various new projects that are in progress. The utility department is also working with the utility building department to resolve issues, and several hang calls and hanging wires were answered. They're always out there working to make our town better and keep things up and running, fighting a good fight with any aging infrastructure system, as is the water utility, where the monitoring of the pump stations occurs on a regular schedule. There are a lot of markouts that are being done, some both emergency, and some are also a bill towards the lead water services that will eventually be done. That process is, as the question was asked to me and I explained it to someone, it's interesting, a grant is not a pile of money. A grant is a promissory note that says, if you get all your ducks in line and do it the way we want it, we'll give you the money back that you spent. So as things do take time, they work in the interest of making sure that the town does things the way that you get money back, and that they do it in a timely and efficient manner. So these things have started, it'll be a while. An inventory, which is part of the meters and the replacement of the meters, was done, and that would give an assessment of a lot of the lead. There's still some work going on in that department. But overall, if you see these things, they're part of your future and they're good. The annual hydrant flushing has the DEP requirements. And I've heard people mention on some nameless Facebook page about like, why do people waste water? Why does the town waste that water? We pay for that water. Well, it is because of the DEP requirements, and also in some situations where our water system has dead ends and circles. If you don't empty those out, you end up with bad water with lower pressure. And you also just have to make sure that these fire hydrants work, because like everything, if you have it, you need it to work. So there are alerts that you can get to that. If you're on Civic Plus, you can go in and set up to get your water system alerts, as well as a lot of the smaller incremental alerts that go out to the town. And you can also text the word Milltown to the number 38276, and that will get you signed up. Reva and Brook Drive, the pump station was unclogged, pulled, and it is currently being repaired. I believe that is the all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. The Board of Education met on March the 25th. They had their audit done with no recommendations, and they were working on their budget. There was a rep from Spotswood, Board of Ed, who reported that there would be no burden on Milltown from the cyber crime loss. And they had been no cuts to the academic or programs at this time. And the district is seeking state approval to issue a bond to recover stolen funds. The next Board of Ed meeting will be April the 20th at 7 o'clock at Joyce Kilmer, and the public budget meeting will be May 4th at 6 o'clock. The next report is the Board of Health, which met on March 24th, and they are working with the food establishments to get their yearly inspections. Vital statistics for January and February, there were 0 births, 8 deaths, and 4 marriages. Licensed at that point were 226 dog licenses and 8 cat licenses. They're going to have their rabies clinic on Tuesday, May 26th, from 6 to 8 at the DPW. The Environmental Commission met on March 18th. On March 19th, they had their Community Energy Planning Grant Town Hall. They will report, and I will report back when they have the feedback. They're going to be holding their 5th annual Earth Day cleanup, which will be Saturday, May 2nd at Mill Pond Park from 10 to 3. Besides the cleanup, there will be kayaking, earth-friendly information, demonstrations, and vendors. A fun day for all. The commission is always looking for new members. If interested, please fill out the citizen leadership application found on the Borough website under forms. The cable TV committee, as we're still transitioning, Channel 15 is up and running a slideshow about events happening, council meeting dates, and more. Council meetings are being shown on Channel 15 and YouTube. The YouTube address can be found on Channel 15. The committee needs new members, please. If anybody is interested, also they can go to the citizen leadership application. They can go to the Borough website and look for the form citizen leadership, and it's an application that's found under forms. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Payne?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to acknowledge Councilwoman Miller's work on the cable committee. I get a lot of comfort from seeing the ads on television. Well, but we're back up and
We
running.
only come to the VA also.
The police report for the month of March. Between March 1st and March 31st, the police responded to 1,347 calls for service. During this time, the police conducted 110 radar details all over the town, made 506 motor vehicle stops during this period, 19 arrests also during the month of March. Shoplifting, simple assault, DWIs, and various other minor offenses. The police department did a traffic study, townwide traffic study, so we'll be talking a little bit more about some of the changes that will take place once that review is completed. But the department has ordered new radar signs that will be installed on both ends of Main Street, similar to the one on Washington Avenue, which has been very successful. I know it's slowed me down, right, as soon as I see those numbers. The sign will be installed sometime in April, and they will alert drivers to their speed and remind them about the posted speed limit on Main Street. For the fire department, for the month of March, there were 28 total incidents and 82 year-to-date. A few notable fire calls. One occurred on East Church. There was a fire under a garage canopy. And another incident at St. Paul's Church, where the fire department inspected the structure for some damage a car had run into the church. And on Ford Avenue, an elevator car had stuck, and so they helped an occupant. One of my greatest fears, getting stuck in the elevator. As always, the fire department did their equipment checks for the month of March, drills, special assignments on the Parkview for March Madness basketball game, and then another at Firehouse, still paying some equipment. Some general information, the crews are training and focusing on an early April live burn at the fire academy. New drivers are being trained on driving fire trucks. Fire classes are starting up for members. And we have a recruit, new applicant in the pipeline that will be eventually joining the department very shortly. And my last report is for the rescue squad. For the month of March, 98 total calls, 79 of them in Milltown, 8 on the Turnpike, and the remaining in mutual aid. This month, they focused on educating their members in vehicle extrication and offered several classes for newer members who want to learn about what the rescue squad does as an organization. And as always, they're looking for new talent, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Zazinski?
This is the senior report. On Tuesday, March 21st, we had our police liaison, Nick Olasinski, who provided an informational workshop on different services offered by the Middletown Police. These included the Blue Angel program, which is a free program offered to assist senior residents who may be unable to answer the door in an emergency. It's a free program for eligible residents. Through this program, the police department owns lock box is mounted in a conspicuous location. A key supplied by the residents locked inside the box in the event of an emergency. Responding police officers will be able to retrieve the key by using a code, thus allowing officers to quickly enter the home without causing damage. In addition, different security systems were discussed about life alerts, AARP, recommendations for home monitoring systems to assist those living alone and could be potential fall risks and access to services. Part of the reason this is very important, one of the senior members fell in her home. I knew her. She was on her basement floor for 5 days. Before she was found, she was brought to the hospital, eventually succumbed. So that's the importance of these programs. And I have a DPW report. I would like to thank Ralph Jasanowski and his DPW crew for an outstanding job preparing the fields for the opening day for Little League, Milltown Little League. It was a great day for the children and their families. Sunshine, warm, and not a cloud nor a drop in the sky. Now that the asphalt plants have reopened, the damaged roads from the water main breaks are being repaired. The park bathrooms have been painted and are ready for season's use. Enjoy the warm spring temperatures and get outside. The DPW is also attending various spring cleanup chores and maintenance. Ralph and I had our first quarterly meeting. We discussed several topics such as roads that will be redone. We are also waiting on the final budget to be voted on. Then we will know exactly what can be done for the betterment of Milltown. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Potter?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the Milltown Recreation Department, all winter youth and adult programs have wrapped up over the past few weeks, and it was a great season. We still have a few tickets left available for the Price is Right Live. Get ready to come on down to the State Theater on Friday, May 1st, for an exciting night out with family and friends. Seasonal applications will be accepted through Wednesday, April 15th for the Milltown Borough Pool and Albert Avenue Summer Rec Camp. Please note, applications will not be available in person. All applications must be sent electronically to applications@milltownborough.com. All spring youth and adult programs will be starting over the next few weeks. Be sure to check out all the exciting new programs we're offering on Community Pass. Registration is still open for our new Buddy Ball program, Volunteer Buddy, Cheer Dance, Basketball Clinics, Musical Theater, Youth Cooking, Tennis, Multi-Sports, Chess, and our adult co-ed softball league. Register now on Community Pass. Planning a birthday party or family reunion? Enjoy the outdoors at Albert Avenue Park. Contact the Recreation Department to reserve your date. Once confirmed, complete the fillable application, email it to kmcgrath@milltownborough.com. Milltown Borough Pool memberships go on sale in May. Registration for Albert Avenue Camp and CIT programs opens this mid-May. Albert Avenue Camp kicks off Monday, June 29th. And contact the Recreation Department with any questions at 732-828-2100, extension 141, or email kmcgrath@milltownborough.com. And please help us continue to make Milltown Recreation a community emotion. From the Planning Board. The Planning Board meeting on April 1st was canceled, and the next one is scheduled for Wednesday, May 6th. And from the Milltown 4th of July Committee, join us this Saturday, April 18th, for our first annual Red, White, and Brew event at the American Legion. Enjoy a fun-filled evening with great food, drinks, music, games, and exciting giveaways. Tickets are $40 a person, and we're offering a special deal: buy 5 tickets and get 1 free. Tickets can be purchased online and will also be available at the door. We'll also be selling our super raffle tickets, available in limited quantity. They can be purchased at the event through a committee member or at the following locations around town: Bagel Express, Kelly's Hair Salon, Garden State Bar, Maria's Pizza, Mike's Country Market, Milltown Convenience, and Rescue by Lacey. And finally, this past Saturday, to echo Councilman Kosnowski's remarks, I, along with the mayor and fellow council members, had the pleasure of participating in Little League Opening Day. We'd like to thank the president of the Little League, Josh Raba, the Little League board, and all the coaches, players, and parents for a successful opening day ceremony, and wish everyone a great season ahead. And Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you. I just have one, it's Friday, May 15th at the Piscataway Senior Center. It's a 90 years old or more. It's a birthday bash celebration luncheon. It's Middlesex County cordially invites county residents of 90 years and older to join their life of celebration in her honor. It's May 15th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Piscataway Senior Center at 700 Vista Way, Piscataway. Reports from borough professionals. Mr. Vignola?
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. McClellan? Oh, Mr. Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, a report on the water meter project progress. To date, 2,526 meters have been replaced, and that equates to approximately 97% of the total. There are 23 that are incomplete, 7 that are currently scheduled, and the number that are not scheduled right now is 36. And the next available date to schedule a meter replacement is April 27th. With regard to the lead service line project, field work is advancing in pace with the markouts being performed by Public Works. And we're about 90% complete on picking up that field work. And I should note that an additional 10 lead lines have been identified through the replacement project, bringing the total to approximately 80. And finally, the Main Street speed study, final report has been sent to the county for consideration of the speed reduction to 25 miles per hour. And that concludes our report.
Thank you. Mr. Stevens?
The benefit going last is pretty much don't have anything left to say. So happy to entertain any questions from council if anything's outstanding.
Thank you. Ms. McCarthy? Okay. Does any member of council have any old business to bring before council?
Yes. We're going to go back to low-income housing. It's resolution 2026-111. We've been used to low-income housing, the conversations, but now we have very low income. That concerns me. I won't go beyond that. That concerns me. I also want to say, because I had a conversation with the council president, when I mentioned veterans groups, seniors groups, and people with disabilities, and questioned what my point was. Do you recall that?
Do not, you can,
Well, you asked me what my point was, and I brought up those groups are not prioritized. And,
I don't remember that conversation.
okay, I do. But you can join in if you'd like with this, if those groups, because you questioned me, if they're not prioritized, which one of those groups would you eliminate and why? Veterans, seniors, and people with disabilities, because they're not in the prioritized group. Okay.
I think we should take that off, that conversation.
Hmm?
I think we should have that conversation off.
Okay. I'm also going to bring up the resolution that went along with that, with the needs to acquire services of a consultant, which we hire. There's nothing in the bylaws that tell us that we have to hire a consultant. And the person who's the business administrator has the ability to take care of the situation at hand in regards to marketing. We had a part-time business administrator for years. Now we have a full-time administrator. Also, have we paid them? Is the company, the marketing company, Mr. Stevens, have we given them any money yet?
We have been invoiced. We have not paid them yet. We are in the process of the work that is involved with the.
I have a question, and I'll go to, it's on that the resolution. Administrative agent general services paid by the municipality. It's, I'll go into what they describe. First year initial setup, municipal services, there's 6 told here. Applicant services, administrative agent, resale fee, subordination requests, and direct costs. As of right now, we don't have any units, and we don't have people that are signing up for the units. So if we have low-income housing in town, it is between owners of buildings or homes and the state. So we're paying this group, this vendor, for what?
We are required, and our attorney can, please feel free to correct me where I'm wrong, but we are required by law to have an administrative agent's names. And even though we don't have any units in town, there is still a volume of state law that goes with affordable housing that we are required to comply with.
Well, the administrative agent doesn't have to be a paid outside vendor.
I guess that's true.
I've looked into this.
I didn't contradict you, sir, but you would need your business administrator to want to take on the obligation to be the affordable housing administrative agent. And I don't know that your business administrator has A, the bandwidth, or B, the background in order to do that. So,
Well, but there are classes, I've looked into, there are classes, and there's certifications.
I am sure there are plenty of people who might be qualified to do that, sir, but I don't know that you can decide you're going to task one of your employees with that obligation.
Why?
Why? Because, first of all, most of our jobs have a listing of what their obligations are, and I don't believe any of our categories within the borough have affordable housing administrative agent as one of their obligations.
So it's mandatory that we hire someone. Well, it's not mandatory, it was mandatory.
You can
that
hire somebody
we hire
in-house, but I dare say it probably cost you more than hiring a consultant.
Okay, so as of right now, there is no work for this consultant, am I wrong? Actually, I won't ask that, I will tell you that. There is no work for this consultant.
Okay?
Okay.
I-
Well, and I really don't gear it towards you, I'm just saying, there is no work for this outside vendor. But taxpayer money is spent on it.
I dare say there are probably many places where taxpayer money is being spent on affordable housing obligations that may or may not be as onerous as, the cost may bear. But unfortunately, we are in a situation where it is an obligation imposed upon every municipality by the state of New Jersey through judiciary, and we have an obligation to comply with that. Otherwise, we're faced with a situation where anyone with a property can come in and say they would like to build affordable housing, and they can do it on their property wherever, whenever they want.
And this had to be decided by the 15th of March, correct?
That is true, sir, yes.
We didn't get word of it though before that.
So we've been working toward that for over a year.
Yes, but there could have been discussion about when this would come in before the builder's remedy came into effect, which I'm aware of.
Okay?
Okay?
If
You
you
can have an answer.
Okay. I'm not sure what we're arguing.
We are quite obligated to make sure that to meet the plan, we have a plan, whether or not we have units.
Yes.
The obligation to provide zoning for an opportunity, a reasonable opportunity for affordable housing in our borough, which is what we've done by creating various zones and properties which would permit the construction of affordable units. Whether or not those units are built is what the market bears out. But our obligation is to provide, a reasonable opportunity for that to occur.
I'm not arguing with that.
Okay. Didn't say you were. We can both agree we're not arguing with each other. It's fine.
Does any member of council have any new business to bring before council?
I'd like to ask a question, and maybe it's premature. Is there a projected timeline for the lead line start date, end date, and
We're still on schedule for spring and early summer. There's
2026.
no definitive date yet.
2026.
This year.
Just want to make sure it's 2026.
thank you.
Thank you. I'll close new business. Open to the public. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. The council will respect the public's time by refraining from any comments until the speaker is finished. It should be further noted that the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. Please state your name and address for the record when you come to the podium. Just a reminder, under the rules of council, individuals wishing to speak during the public input part of the meeting should be limited to a 5-minute period and may, after other speakers have finished, may be allowed to speak for a second 5-minute period. If someone raises their hand, please step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Kushner. I live at 25 West Joffrey Avenue. I'm a resident for 15 years. I would like to begin by thanking the panel for allowing me to speak tonight. I am not here to debate or argue the agenda being presented. I am here to raise concern and awareness about the current and long-standing rental situation in Milltown. On our block alone, there are 2 rentals. In addition, there are 2 more rentals at the end of the block on Albert and at the end of the block on Lee. Over the years, some of these properties have not been properly maintained and some have been misused. Living in a small town, the residents of West Joffrey initially tried to handle these issues quietly, hoping to remain neighborly. Several of us reached out directly to the landlords, only to be ignored and told our concerns were nonsense. Multiple times over the years, some residents brought these matters to the borough's attention, only to be brushed off and told that the housing situation going on our block was legal. This left many of us feeling defeated. Some have sold their homes, and others seriously considered moving. The ongoing situation has caused significant frustration. For some time, we have been hit with unnecessary expenses and disruptions while landlords profit and the town still collects taxes. In the past few months, we've learned that one of these rentals has actually been unregistered and illegally rented as a 2-family unit with 10 to 12 tenants at one time on 1 meter. Another house has 11 people living in it as well. On our block, we have been overwhelmed with excessive tenants, rodents, cars, garbage, and late-night parties that end with drunk yelling and screaming and vomiting on our lawns at 2 a.m. Winter plowing became a nightmare because these tenants repeatedly chose to take the $50 tickets rather than move their cars. This year, towing was a blessing for our block, and we would want to thank Chief Johnson for enforcing the cleanup and the ordinances. However, tenants in both houses now park on their lawns. Legal, yes, but they are driving over people's property to do so. We had to install a fence in the height of the storm just to protect our property. Their visitors have even parked in our driveways without permission. In the fall, neither house properly cleans their leaves, causing the sewers to back up at the end of the block, causing disruptions to the end houses. After filling out a civic complaint and having Martin O'Neill from zoning and permits come out, it was alarming to learn that these houses have not been inspected since their initial occupancy, yet they are still allowed to be rented. There are small children living in these homes. Some are infants, and we have no idea whether there are functioning smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, or fire extinguishers. There is also no proof that all these bedrooms and basements are legal and that the properties have not been altered. Martin has made huge strides in helping us, and we are truly grateful. But we do not want to be forgotten again. These houses need consistent oversight. Even after being investigated, the owner continues to give misinformation to the town, and we have disproven this with emails and videos. We actually brought photos for people to review tonight. We are asking Milltown to monitor the rental situation more carefully. One person cannot fix this. There are too many rentals, too many years of no supervision. Someone needs to regularly scan the ads and media sites for these unregistered rentals. Registered rentals should be publicly listed to prevent situations like happening like this in the future. The town and its residents need to stop backing down and start addressing issues that are making a once beautiful community less appealing. Main Street is filled with rentals, and the area in front of many of them are consistently filthy and poorly maintained. Main Street is the heart of our parades, our town events, and the first thing potential buyers see when they enter this town. These properties should not represent who we are. We are asking, please fix Milltown's rental system. Hold these absentee landlords who actually still live in this town that don't come by the properties accountable with stricter fines and violations. And it has cost us more than you realize. Please step up and make sure this gets handled, because it's happening not just on our block, it's happening on Richter, it's happening on Cottage. There are people complaining and nothing is getting done. I have pictures of a giant rat I had to catch on Easter while everybody ate their dinners, and it's unfair. So we kindly ask you, while you consider housing, you have to inspect these. You have firemen who have families going into these homes that think they know these homes because they grew up here, and there's new walls in these homes. You can trap a fireman in 5 seconds. Do you want that on your head? Because I wouldn't. So please do your job, help these neighbors. It is not just about Joffrey, it has gone on to Persian, because their yards have been affected, it has gone on to Michael Avenue. The rodents are out of control, the Board of Health has been here twice. Not just this year, 2 years ago. Please hold them accountable. Thank you.
Before you leave, would you look into your contact?
Sorry?
Before you leave, would you leave your contact information? I'll look into it.
Yes, my name's Kelly Kushner. I don't want to put my
No,
number.
don't do it, don't.
Yes.
Wait,
Mark O'Neill has my email, my phone number is the Board of Health, Victoria Odyssey, also has our phone number. We've been in touch with Nancy from the county clerk's office as well. We didn't stop just here. We were pushed, we were brushed off. People had gone in, whoever was here before Martin lied to us. That house is not legal. They're saying there was a grandmother in there, and it is not legal. Thank you.
Did you want to share those?
These are all the pictures, if any residents would like to see what we have been living with for 4 years, 10 years with another neighbor, you can see it. And please understand why you have to live there without frustration. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brian Wong. I'm an East Brunswick resident, but many of you probably know me better as the owner of
Address?
12 Innis Road, East Brunswick, New Jersey. You guys probably know me more at 23 North Main Street, Unit 4. It's the ambiguous studio that does martial arts and dance. And I've been here for 4 years, and Middletown is a very special place to me, despite being an East Brunswick resident. You know, I like to participate in town activities like every year donating to the fireworks show. I brought many people into town. These last 4 years, I brought NFL players and comedians and actors, and my lease is coming to an end, and I would like to find a way to stay in Middletown. And the firehouse is a point of interest for me. I actually do agree with both council members and their sentiments, and I think that the sentiments of the town people are also very important and consistent. People don't want to see the firehouse go away, but no one wants to see it vacant. And I think although there's many people who are interested in developing property, whether it's for mixed use, commercial, or residential, I might be one of the only entrepreneurs coming up to the plate and wanting to turn it into something where everyone kind of wins. I would like to be kept in consideration for what actually ends up with the firehouse, but my vision for it is to turn it into a multi-unit commercial lot while maintaining as much of the original structure from the French school that it used to be from 100 years ago.
So, just to clarify, I looked at the picture and I might have missed something in the beginning. Were you speaking of Cottage Ave or the Main Street?
Main Street.
Okay.
But I have spoken to some police officers in town, and they would like to see something done with the other location as well, to run on a Cottage Ave. And I don't think it's beyond the scope of what's possible for me to do something about it. But again, I'm very open to whatever you guys decide to do. I'm flexible with my plans, but I would like to just keep that in the bush.
No, it's a reasonable space. I've actually looked in there recently, as I had, just as a concept, I was trying to get the idea of a short-term, like a kayak rental place or a bike rental place, and I kind of just did a visual. It is simply just a big cottage. Cottage is certainly the most easily or fastest turnaround that we could present something to try and create income. Generate, when I say wealth for the community, I mean something that's good for the community as well as generating revenue.
I think incubating businesses would be a great idea, making sure that whatever ends up happening with the space, it is kept competitive in terms of rental rates. As a small business owner myself, I know that that's a significant roadblock that a lot of businesses don't survive.
On North Main Street alone right now, I spend about $3,400 a month on rental room, and that's not including utilities, taxes, and other maintenance fees that go into it, and many businesses like mine cannot survive that. But I think in order to keep tax income coming into the town, by keeping the rental rate a bit lower, you can incubate new businesses. A mom and pop trying to start a coffee shop probably can't afford thousands every single month.
How much retrofit, just as, just as a concept, like, when you, for your place, in your craft, was the retrofit on you, or was it on is that a negotiation that occurs separately every single time?
Are you talking about my current location over on, next to Dunkin'?
Yes.
The remediation of that building, which I believe used to be a dry cleaning location, was on me. The landlord did not contribute to that. That was about a $22,000 expense on our part and 6 months of work. Some of you guys in town who go to Dunkin', which I assume is everyone, probably followed the saga a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, that was all on me. I suspect this will probably be a pretty similar project if it's something that's not going to work with me.
I heard other people say that, yeah, so the startup costs, but also without being able to, a small startup, mom and pop being able to commit to a 2-year contract. So to entice a landlord to consider paying for part of the retrofit, just becomes a lot of commitment for a startup or for anybody looking to, and it's just interesting, I'd like to have a better take on what cottage firehouse can do or be.
I think the limit is just really the imagination of the people involved, but I'm very open to any conversations regarding that. I would actually personally prefer to put the priority on the Main Street location, just simply because I think more businesses would probably be interested in that spot. I think in addition to retrofitting and upgrading the existing facility, there's probably a lot of opportunity to expand the parking lot a little bit, and then also add more new units, new construction there, so that it kind of becomes another hub. I think Middletown has a very, very charming town center that people have brought from across the country seem to like it a lot. But I think we could also do with more than just Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, indeed. Councilman Kozinski, I think you had a question?
Yeah, Brian, don't leave without speaking to me.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Wong, I just want to
Yes.
thank you for your business in our town. I go to Dunkin' Donuts, I see your business is very lively.
And I would like to thank you guys for Middletown as well. It's
Yeah.
been a very important chapter. I hope it continues.
We do too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Burgess, 25 Lincoln Avenue. A couple of things. With as expensive as this state is to live in, I think Middletown needs to come up with some ways to generate some tax revenue to alleviate our high taxes. And one of the areas I was thinking about was garbage. Usually my wife and I, we buy an appliance, we usually have the store take it away. Now in the past, the store wouldn't charge anything to take it. But now they charge a fee. Matter of fact, I think the last time we got charged $90. Now, I wouldn't brought up a good point. You have a lot of investment properties here, a lot of renters. I see a lot of garbage in town. So honestly, I think the town really should start charging a fee for pulling away appliances because we can't afford, in the past it was different, but things are so expensive now. We can't afford to keep passing this as well, we're gonna give you this expensive, and it's costing us a small fortune. So I really think the town should consider charging a fee, at least for appliances. I don't know, maybe councils too, but something really has to be done. One other area too is, park rental fees. I didn't look into it, I don't know why the town charges for a rental fee, but I'm hoping that, because after the park's rented, they usually send a borough employee there, who gets paid 4 hours overtime, so I hope the fees at least cover.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and I just hope too, if you rent it to out of town, that the fees are staying. Okay, so that's, okay, that's very good.
Bathrooms too.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, moving on, regarding Ford Avenue, regarding the South Beach Firehouse. Personally, I don't think we should sell it. I think down the road, the town may need this property for future use. It's not costing us anything to keep it. Now, let's go and offer the interesting scenario. If you wanted to, sell the building, restore the building, open a business there, that's an interesting concept. I think because the town is so small right now, we may need that property in the future. And again, it's not gonna cost us anything. And I'm completely against just selling the property and letting somebody tear it down, because you know as well as I do, if someone's gonna put a housing project there, the last thing we need in town is more housing. It's gonna kill us. It really is. But that last gentleman offered an interesting speculation, but again, it's not costing us anything to keep the property. Finally, one more thing. I've been bringing this up at past meetings years ago. I really wish the town would negotiate talks with the county for flood remediation in Mill Pond. Now, some years ago, Spotswood did a flood remediation project in the county for the Bow Lake. And, this problem isn't gonna go away. I'm sure there's grants out there. I'm sure there's somebody we could talk to for some kind of remediation, because these high-risk floods are kind of happening every 5 years. So I think it's something that really needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Keith Cook, 219 North Brook Drive. Two quick questions, or comments, excuse me. First, regarding the May 15th event in Piscataway, I don't know if it was brought up or contemplated, but I suggest that you all consider the possibility of providing transportation for our seniors to go to that event. Might be a nice thing. And the second comment, I guess it's a rhetorical question. Do we only have 8 cats in town? That number seems pretty low from a standpoint of registered cats. So, thanks, that's all I have.
Lee Weisenberger, 99 JFK Drive. Looking for information tonight. I want to go to the curbing on Main Street, an issue that's popping up. We have a code for curbing in town, and the county has a code for curbing. The question is, do they match? Because people on Main Street, if you're gonna go after them for repair of sidewalk, you need to know the elevation of what the curb is supposed to be on Main Street. I can't see anybody fixing anything on Main Street until we find out what's going on. Now, the county, going back, it's their road. And if Mike can answer this, then there's supposed to be elevations for that roadway, going back a long time. Because you look at that road, the entire length, the curb height is all over the place, if it exists at all. And I've been talking to some people now at South River, and the county did come in, and they're repairing that road from the railroad ties that were here back in trolley days. Just ties, the road sank. But they're picking up the tab, I understand, for that whole job. They're doing sidewalks and everything. Now, I don't know if all of Milltown's ties were taken out over the years. I'm still trying to dig into that. But once again, that road's been repaved, overlaid, whatever, over the years. If that elevation is anywhere near where it's supposed to be, according to the maps, I'd love to know. And I think the property owners need to know too. Because there's no sense spending the time on anything till we find out what's going on elevation-wise. I know the borough engineer, I believe, is responsible for all our side streets for elevations. But once again, county roads are a whole different ballgame. So if anybody can feed into that a little bit.
So I know the county road, Main Street, the elevation is pretty set because every time they mill it, they do hit the trolley lines. So they have to, one, repair the milling machine after they hit the trolley lines. And then when they pave over it, it's basically the same depth that they take out. I actually had approached the county shortly after taking office and asked them about the curbing and sidewalks on all the length of Main Street. The county's response was that the only way they would do that is if it was a complete reno of the street. So because it's a milling and paving, they didn't consider the curbing and sidewalks. But if it was a complete redo of Main Street and the sidewalks and curbing, ADA ramps, everything would be included in that. I don't know if Mr. McClung have anything further.
Yeah, I've never really seen a map of the entire region. There was a project, probably 30 years ago, where they reconstructed a portion of Main Street, somewhere near the firehouse on Main Street. There were plans and elevations on that, the rest of the road. The only other location you can have, Google now has some elevations, not within actually the survey, but they do give you some elevation, not enough to design curve. The other issue with curbing is that what the county does is they mill and repave, so essentially the road surface stays at the same elevation. To change the curve and raise it up to match, say, a 6-inch curve fix, now you've got a high spot, you've got problems with grades and drainage, and you get back to all kinds of problems. So the only real way to do it would be to reconstruct the road, as the mayor said.
Well, that's the object, because like you said, you can just see that road the way it is, and where it goes, it doesn't go.
Drainage is something that should be considered on Main Street also, which we discussed that before.
So like I said, once again, knocking on doors at the county. I don't know who you gotta knock on down there, the county engineer or somebody, but we gotta get something going here. I mean, this can't be put off once a year, go down there and say, hey, we need some money for this. No. We gotta keep pounding away down there and see what can happen out of this. Because that's just crazy the way it is now. So, and along that line, I did come up with this. South River has a curb and sidewalk program every year. I was digging into our history. Apparently in 2000, we did have a program like that. And from what I've been able to find, 135 homeowners did sign up, but I have no clue if they were residential off of Main Street or, some on Main Street. And I was wondering if that might be in your records.
There was a project back then, that's correct, I recall.
So it's a feasible thing to do too, even for the side streets. Because we have, certainly on side streets, from tree removal, there's still plenty of curb that's screwed up. And once again, the idea is to bundle this together and everybody pays a portion instead of taking it on yourself, because the cost just goes, through the roof. So whether we should go to this, every year and see who signs up, who's interested maybe, and find out. Once again, we have to know something.
Not mistaken with the curb replacement, doesn't the curbing go down 10 inches or 12 inches down?
They just about 18 inches.
18?
So there's specs on it.
Pretty substantial.
Yeah.
And Steve,
It's become very expensive to move these curbs out.
Okay, Steve brought up no pond, my favorite topic. It just so happens a few days ago, this article came out on NJ.com. This is 2 residents up in Hunterdon County that bought property up there. Turns out they both have a little dam on the property. Didn't think it was an issue. It's all turned into a multi-million-dollar issue now, and they're liable to repair, fix, replace, whatever, because the DEP stuck their nose in there. Now, finally. So once again, no pond, I'm telling you, that's a multi-million-dollar problem there. We gotta fix that. We do not own it. We gotta straighten that out. Because we're gonna pay a portion. That's it. Appreciate it.
Seeing no further audience comments, I'll close public portion. Does any council members have any comments from the court council this evening?
I do, if you don't mind, I want to start, just because I'm a stream of conscious kind of guy, I got it all in front of me, and some of the stuff we're talking about today does tie into other things. So regarding the gentleman who's talking about the flood and getting money from the county and fixing that stuff, I like it. When we originally ran, the idea was trying to get the old DPW building, that area into something. And part of the complications that we run into in this town is that our waterway is not our waterway. We are forced to look at it, try and pick up around it, but we don't own it, we can't touch it. If we did something, we built a dock, you might get an email from a DEP or an EPA that took a picture from above and superimposed it over last year and said, that wasn't there, it's not yours, take it out. And that is the challenge. The other side of that challenge is going to be getting grants. I do think it's a worthy endeavor. I do think I've, kind of tried to accommodate or acquire information about how we can do it. I've been listening to Lee for 2 1/3 years. And I, with that, tying into what you're saying, and what you're saying, at some point when we want to go do these things, if we want to apply for a grant, if we get a grant, if we don't get a grant, somewhere in the letter will be, when did this actually become yours? Or when did it not become yours? And granted, we haven't had a full-time EA in a year or two. We have, our town has had a lot on its plate, and we're fighting wars on a lot of fronts. But down the road, in order to get everything that we want done, that would be great to be the dream of dreams, we're probably gonna have to clean up all of these little messes, put out all those little fires before we can go and, acquire some of the monies that we should get. Or, I just think it's gonna end up being that way. Because every time you go to do something, there's always a small incremental piece of paper that seems to want to throw us off. So, Lee, I appreciate that you dig for that. I know, you probably don't get a big excitement from all of us when you present things, but it's a necessary function, and we do need that. So I appreciate your reminder. The other part would be, I do agree that I'm not always big on selling Firehouse because there's a cost to doing nothing and having that sit and make no revenue, to me means that we're waiting for a liability is part of your risk profit ratio. Sure, there's nothing wrong with it until we have to fix the roof, until a tree falls on it, until a squatter breaks his leg inside there and nobody's got a key and all these things that matter. And the other side of it is that it just does nothing for us, and decays. Everything that is not moving forward, that is not growing, is just acquiring things that need to be repaired. And that to me is a high cost of doing nothing. So I'm not exactly for selling. I would love to get revenue out of it. I would love to increase the town's wealth. Getting a great business in here, getting something that people go to and then go afterwards to buy some food, some ice cream, take a picture by the lake, that would be wonderful. We can control that through zoning and control what kind of business goes there, and we can make it so it can't just be apartments, and that's not a big. I agree. We don't need more apartments. We don't need more taxation on our infrastructure. We don't need less spots to park with more bodies to put, so there's a lot of good things that, like what you're saying, I fully get it. And I appreciate the clear manner in which you presented, and it ties into what you were saying, sir. To be quite interesting, as a council, the same reason that we hire a guy to come in and do our plan for affordable housing is that we as a council can get presented with a plan and say yes or no, point out its merits or its failures. But we're not those guys to come up with that plan. That's why we need a third party, which is why we're hiring an assessor, which is why some young entrepreneurial mind that comes up with some kind of good plan could certainly reach out to the council and he might try it out, because we're all here for the same reason. I appreciate that there are people at the meetings, and I appreciate the way you guys clearly just, presented what's going on with you. Again, zoning, I know that I have a rental in North Brunswick, or rather my wife's family does, and I have the point of contact. I have to register as a landlord every year. I don't have to have a re-inspection until I have a new CI, new occupant. So somewhere, I think in registration or in any kind of rental in town, maybe perhaps the right to re-inspect might somehow get added, or could be, or that wouldn't be a bad thing. Because I can't dictate policy in this conversation, but I'm saying that out loud, hoping that somebody smarter and more proficient at creating legislation does that for me, or considers it. But the right to re-inspect would kind of help that. I do think, perhaps, I don't know how it ties in, but the report of concern button on our website creates a paper trail.
No, just Council's comment.
But, I just think that maybe that is not maybe, when I was on the other side of this, and I was talking about there, or on one of those Facebook pages, the conversation, but the repetitiveness and people saying, yeah, I've seen that too, and I'm not a fan of that. It really grounds well. If you want to get it done, that's what we're here for, is really to get everything done and decide what can be done first. But perhaps the report of concern might not be a bad option for you, just because it creates a paper trail. And then, at some point when you come back in here, you complain about, you can blame it. The guy even said, do the report of concern, it hasn't happened. That's just one more point of paper. But I feel for you, and I know rentals are tough to manage. And we are only one code enforcement officer. So, but I feel distaste for your problem, I get it. So, it does affect the value of the town. And I think that was it. I think I had 3 things to say before this meeting even started. And, yes, I don't know. Are you required to register a cat in this town? Oh, okay. Because we can get another guy, we can get a lot of money off of that. A lot of cats in town. All right, well, I guess that's a small fish to fry. Oh, but yeah, the appliance fee, I'll tell you, I'll be done in like 8 seconds. My company did a lot of free deliveries because, we have big customers. And then at some point, somebody said, $20. $20 for every delivery we make, no matter what, even if they're great people. If the Pope wants a delivery and he's down the street, it's $20. And it was something like 80 grand a year. So, $20 is something to consider. And again, maybe I'm reporting concern. That way I know it goes to the right spot. Me talking is me talking. Thank you very much. Sorry to bother you so long. But yeah. That's a joke.
Mr. Mayor, just 2 quick things. First of all, thank you very much for bringing this very interesting information to our attention. I'm sure as a council, we're going to be looking into this and probably following up with Martin and you and seeing what the next steps are. On a positive note, of course, special shout out to Middletown's own Dylan McGregor for winning the 2026 Mr. Sponsor's of Boston High School, and a lot went into it, and we just congratulate you, Dylan. So, thank you very much. That's all I have.
Just a couple of quick comments. And I just want to reiterate my council member comments about your situation. And I thank you for telling us about it, for providing pictures to us. And I'm very sorry that this is happening. And we'll get on. We'll get as much as we can. Gary, I was just wondering if you could just put a bug in out here to maybe do a townwide street cleaning in the winter time. I haven't seen a street cleaner.
I'm sorry, can you speak louder?
Just if you could put a bug in, Ralph's ear, to do like maybe a townwide or a systematic, street cleaning. I haven't seen a street cleaner in some time.
They will be.
Okay, so I already inquired, because several residents have asked me about it in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So I know that there was some problem with the truck had an issue and it had to be fixed. So I understand that there was some delay, it wasn't intentional, but.
I'll speak to them tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. I also just wanted to, speak with you, a minute about the town hall meeting that Environmental Commission had held. Council, Woman Miller is the chair, I'm also on that committee with her, and these are really good people that are on this commission that volunteer their time and have done yeoman's work and have a grant application in. And the town hall meeting was attended by every council member here. And, you know, it was an educational opportunity, it was an opportunity for citizens to give input with regards to issues about sustainability and solar energy, which really kind of goes hand in hand with our battery project, which, you know, is going to create substantial savings in our electrical rates. So I think that these kinds of events are so critical for residents to be able to, you know, come out and, you know, spend an hour of time, and it gives you an opportunity to talk to us outside of a venue like a council meeting. And, you know, I found it very interesting, and I learned a lot. And so I just, you know, putting out there, just pay attention to those town hall events, because this is your town, right? And, you know, we are here to serve you. That's our job. So, so anyway, that concludes my.
Just one thing. There may be some people that don't realize, because I truly didn't realize it either, that if you do own a cat, you should get a license. So maybe when I report the next time, I'll have a higher intent. Thank you.
Just one quick one, you know, because I think it's a feel-good thing. You know, it's nice to, our astronauts at the Artemis project return safely, because in my mind, I sit there and I go, oh, what's the big deal? You know, we've done that many times before. And then I forget that I have a 25-year-old who all she remembers is a Challenger. So she doesn't, you know, and then it brings her back home because I'm old. I'm like, yeah, you know what, that's really something nice. So to see her kind of watching on YouTube and just continue to see that she was happy to see these astronauts come home. Just want to say it's nice that they got home safely.
All right, I'll close council comments. I only have a few quick ones. Mine will be real quick. So I actually brought to the council's attention a year and a half, 2 years ago, that a couple of residents and or investors in town wanted to open up a microbrewery in town at the firehouse, which would have brought a lot of revenue. That's what tried to help perpetuate the movement of the firehouse being vacant. Second was, from Mr. Gregg, is the one thing that really frustrates me as well is with these rental properties is a lot of the residents, when they vacate a home, they leave sometimes enough to fill a 40-yard dumpster full of garbage in front of their house as they walk away from it. And I would like to see something like that where the owner of the property be heavily fined for leaving all that crap out in front of the street. And then our DPW guys have to bend over backwards to try to fix it and clean everything up, because that's, it's just a waste of time for them to have to chase after this all the time, because it's always happening. And then the last is, part of the problem with the streets being filled with leaves is, in the fall or early spring, we get a lot of residents that blow all their leaves in the street, and they refuse to pick them up, which then causes a lot of problems with the leaf machine or the street sweeper. So that's been an ongoing thing that our code enforcement has been trying to address with all the debris left in the streets from the winter and residents just blowing everything in the street. And that's it for me. At this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second. A motion made by Councilman Potter, second by Council President Zambrano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. Just like to say, you guys are going.